Hey, this Omar, and just on here doing a quick recap of the Sunday night game between the Packers and the Bills, and what I thought about the game, and Buffalo, they chugging along. You know what I'm saying? It's they real dominant. Definitely sticking claim as the best team in the league right now, and you know it was it was a solid win, even though Josh Allen didn't really have his best game, you know. But they was in command of the game. They miles, leaps and miles ahead of the Packers at this point in time of the season, and it showed. And they got a they got a solid running game this week, and that was one of the keys to victory for them. If they get a little bit of running game where Josh Allen don't gotta be the one mainly running the ball, and Singletary or Mars do it for him, then sky's the limit, because it's just gonna add another element to their offense. Um, on the other side, you look at the Packers, and I don't know, they might have a rough year. It's looking like it. If they don't trail some wins together, you pretty much next week. If they go to 3-6, it's really. I mean, not saying that they can't make it the playoffs, but it's gonna be real tough. You know what I'm saying? Because Minnesota is running, and if they already 5 down, if they lose next week, they already gonna be 5 games behind them boys, and Minnesota looking like they straight, what I'm saying, as far as they gonna be, they gonna win the division, what I'm saying, unless they have some sort of major injury that causes them to, go on a major losing streak. But right now, they only team they lost to was Philly. And it ain't no slouch if you say yeah, Philly the team that got you, cause shit, they still undefeated. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he misses Devontae for sure, and it was good to see that this week they definitely wanted to focus on the running game, and if anything, that showed that maybe Buffalo do got some weakness in that armor, where you possibly could run the ball, but you gonna have to have the boys up front that's gonna push the line, and you gonna have to have an official stud dude in the back that that's actually gonna cut through that line and run hard. You know what I'm saying? But Aaron Rodgers, he was only 19 to 30, 203, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and yeah, he just hasn't had a flow yet. Him and Brady kind of on the same wavelength, where they really haven't had a flow thus far this season like they normally do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say they wash, but it's just, I normally you would see them kind of clicking by now. They would have had one of their 3 touchdown, 4 touchdown, 5 touchdown game, and thus far but they both haven't had that. And so, I guess maybe they might got to transition of, maybe they got to let Jones maybe steal some wins, or Jones and Dillon, you know what I'm saying? And then, maybe Rodgers will come along later in the year. But, you know, 203 yards on the road in Buffalo is not going to get it done. Even though they had a great running attack tonight, you know what I'm saying? They had, as a team, they had 208 yards on 31 carries. Aaron Jones had 20 for 143, and, 32 was his long, and Dillon had 10 carries for 54. So that's that's a recipe for that they can live with. Like, they would actually, want to have some in between 140 and 200, week to week if possible. But they just gotta find a receiver that he can just log in and feed. You know what I'm saying? And like he was saying at the on the press conference, like, when when one person end, and when one person come back this week, another person be hurt, so they don't really have no consistency at that position this year. And so that's the thing he probably is really missing the most about Adams, because regardless on what you say, Adams, he come to play every week, you know what I'm saying? But he gonna have to just, work with these young boys. Dobbs is pretty solid. He had the touchdown tonight. He had on 7 targets, he caught 4 for 62. And Torrey. Torrey is I guess he might be their fifth receiver. Fifth or fourth receiver. But he caught 1 for 37 and a touchdown, 4 targets. Tunyon, he caught 5 for 35 on 6 targets. So Tunyon need to be getting the ball way more. He's somebody he could rely on, but for some reason he just don't feed him enough. You know what I'm saying? But he could be one of the ones that kind of really open the offense up. But if he don't, he don't like to throw, because he one of them dudes that he like. I mean, one thing that Skip said that's kind of true is he don't really want that ton of interceptions and shit. So if the guy don't look all the way open, he really ain't gonna chance that shit. And so, Tunyon, he be running the ball, he gonna be working over the middle and shit. So, he gonna have to trust him, man. Cause he got potential. He looked like he could do some things, but he in some games he feed him, and then another game he don't feed him. So it's hit or miss with Tunyon. As far as the team go, they had the ball, for 33 minutes, because Buffalo more of a quick strike offense, and they don't really need the ball for a ton of minutes to do what they got to do. And so their third down conversion, they was 6 of 12. They was actually better than Buffalo. Buffalo was only 2 of 7. So they had a better, they was 50% on third down, but that's still it. The game was pretty much over when it was half 24-7. It was gonna be hard for them to make up them 17 points, especially against that mob. You know what I'm saying? Buffalo ain't no slouch. And then you flip it over to Buffalo for Josh Allen. Aside from the Miami game, this was one of his worst games, as far as he had only thrown the ball for 218 yards on 13 completions for 25 attempts, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, pass rating of 75. So he was kind of shitty, but they got some good running from Singletary. He had 14 carries for 67 yards. That 30-yarder was his longest. Josh Allen also chimed in with 6 carries for 49, and 20 was his longest. And then they had Cook, who chimed in for 5 for 35, and 17 was his longest. So altogether, the team, they gave him 153 yards running the ball. So maybe that's why he didn't really have to, rock out with his arm like that. Diggs did typical Diggs shit. He had another 100-yard game. He caught the ball on 8 targets. He caught it for 6 for 108, and 53 was his longest, and he had a touchdown. And they also did let me see, Knox. And Knox got the ball. I think, did he score last week? Let me see. I can't remember if he scored last week, but they starting to feed him on the goal line, so that's gonna be a problem. As far as sacking, they only had they got 2 sacks, they got an interception. QB hits, they had 4. So Buffalo solid. We ain't gonna sit here and act like nothing except but the obvious. You know what I'm saying? They come with it every week on the road or at home, and they keep on getting this dub. That game next week should be a good game. You know what I'm saying? That game versus Jets. I think the Jets could steal a game off of them. So I think they're gonna go 4-2 in the division. You know, unless New England surprise me, but I think they're gonna sweep New England. But I think they're gonna split with I called it before the season that they was gonna split with the Dolphins and the Jets. So that game gonna be pretty good though, cause that defense is yeah. So I'm curious to see how they gonna match up and see what they can try to exploit. You know, versus Josh Allen and whatnot. But it should be a good game though, for sure. A good AFC matchup. Everybody should be tuned in, you know, and it should be, one of they, because before Josh Allen really got his legs under him, like I wanna say last year is when he really kind of turned the corner. But before last year, it was like Jets and Buffalo would be splitting, you know what I'm saying? So even when the Jets be a sorry team, so I think with Jets is coached really well, and they got a decent I mean their offense could be better if they had a better quarterback, but they still getting wins despite of their quarterback. So you looking at that game, it should be something to watch. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to watching that game, you know what I'm saying, just to see how that defense and the defense versus offense, and even if Jess got some decent skill position people, and I want to see if they can call up some plays the way they can see if they can get off on Buffalo defense. But it's gonna be hard because Zach Wilson, he's like I don't trust him, and he in one of them bags where it's like he hasn't really shown that it factor yet for a dude that was drafted in the top 5. But we'll see. But right, as of right now, maybe he need this whole rest of the season, and maybe next year he'll come in with that certain confidence. But as of right now, I don't see it. So I'll see what they how they look next week. But yeah, dude on the screen, legit, definitely MVP front runner. With him and Jalen Hurts. So they plugging along and stuff like that. I wanna see, I gotta remember who they play in the NFC, and see who they match up with. I wanna say, do they match up with the NFC? Let me see. I can't even remember like off the top of my head, because I know that the NFC West been playing the AFC West, and so the NFC East been playing the AFC South, and so yeah, you know what? That means they playing the NFC North, right? So they probably have a matchup with Minnesota coming up soon. I'm thinking, like I said, I'm just to put freestyle, and they played the Packers, so yeah, they might be playing the NFC North. So yeah, they got a good game coming up this, in the next few weeks versus Minnesota. That'll be another good barometer game as far as to see, just I guess maybe see where Minnesota is, see whether they can hang. But so far, yeah, Buffalo is as advertised. So yeah, that's my quick thoughts on that. All right, thanks for listening.